Today, we are commemorating and celebrating the feast of the Transfiguration of the Lord, an event where the disciples, even before the resurrection event, had the opportunity to look at and witness who Jesus was, or to recognize the glory or see the glory of Christ. A vision which Daniel would say would have in his own vision, as we have read in the first reading. A glorious stature of the Lord, of who Lord is in its full splendor. The three Gospels, the Synoptic Gospels, Mark, Matthew, and Luke, actually do refer to this incident or in almost similar terms. There is no much of difference in their accounting of this incident. And one important thing to note about this, the way they present this incident is, in all these three gospel evangelists present this incident in almost at the middle of their gospel writings and middle of Jesus' ministry, public ministry too. And that is why it is very important to understand. In order to understand this transfiguration, we need to understand the context in which this transfiguration is taking place. The context is this. That is, the disciples, the apostles have been going around with Jesus for some time, and they are seeing lots of things that Jesus has been doing. He's doing a lot of miracles, he's teaching them a lot of wonderful things. And they are noting something different from what they have heard till then. And not only they are realizing it, and they are hearing it from the others too. It seems this person is someone different. His words are so powerful. His deeds are so powerful. And when they are seeing these things, more than having answers, they are having more questions in them. And that is why, in between this confusion, Jesus himself is asking the disciples, who do the people say I am? And it's regarding to them, the apostles are explaining, the people, some say you are one Elijah, some say you are John the Baptist. This is what the people are saying. And then Jesus asks, who do you say I am? And from nowhere, Peter comes out with his answer, you are the Messiah, without even understanding what he is saying. And of course, Jesus is telling you, you have answered well. And you have realized it? No, it's rather the Father has revealed it to you, though you don't understand what you are telling. That is why immediately after that, when Jesus explains to him what a Messiah is, that I am a Messiah, suffering Messiah, who is going to suffer and die. And that is when the truth strikes Peter and says, that is not what we understood about the Messiah. I don't want to be part of it. Let's go back. Maybe we have to change the idea of the Messiah. Then Jesus says, no, Satan, get away from me. And then he says, if you have to be my disciple, you have to take up your cross and follow me. And it is in this context where the disciples are in a state of disillusionment and incomprehension of the fact of the Messiah. Because they feel their understanding of the Messiah is different. Whether it is not the Messiah that they understood before them, Christ, is he really fulfilling the scriptures? Or is he really fulfilling the prophets? In this kind of disillusionment, they are. In this disillusionment, Jesus is taking them to this mountain to witness this transfiguration. And witness this transfiguration and letting them know who he really is. And then they see that he is conversing with Moses and Elijah. Moses, of course, representing the scriptures in its totality. So they are understanding he is not going against the scriptures, rather he is fulfilling. Or rather, Moses is telling what you are doing is correct. In the way the disciples are understanding, he is fulfilling the scriptures. And the prophets, Elijah, they represent all the prophets. telling he is not going against the prophets, rather he is also fulfilling what the prophets has prophesied years before and centuries before. And that is the moment they realize this is the real Messiah. And what kind of a Messiah? They understood the answer who Jesus is, but what kind of a Messiah? Maybe he is the Messiah. But of course, the full understanding of it will come only after resurrection. But what is the significance for them? In order to understand, we need to understand other two things too. Moses and Elijah there are also part of the witness of this glory. Because Moses and Elijah had the same experience, the same opportunity to look at this glory of God. Exodus chapter 19, where immediately after the Israelites protested against God and created their own golden calf, they were going against God, and God is angry towards them. And then they do not know what to do. The commandments are shattered. Then God asks Moses to come to me. Come to me to the Mount Sinai. The people are disillusioned. Moses is disillusioned. What is the way forward? At that moment, the Lord calls him to Mount Sinai and reveals himself. So that glory gives back the illusion, the vision that they should have. Takes them from this disillusionment to a vision that they should really have for their life. The same way for Elijah in 1 King chapter 19 onwards, where the king Ahab says to Jezebel, his wife. Jezebel is actually a prophetess of Baal, and she is always trying to kill the prophet Elijah. And this moment where all the prophets of Baal have been murdered, and she comes to know about it. And she is trying for an opportunity to kill Prophet Elijah. And Elijah is running away from them to Mount Horeb. And where he is telling God, Lord, I can't do it any longer. Take my life away from me. A moment of disillusionment. A moment where he doesn't want to go forward. It is at that moment the Lord said, he shows his glory to Elijah. Where he said, I no longer want to do this. After witnessing this glory, he says, there I am, Lord, I'm ready to go wherever you sent me to. This is what real transfiguration really means. Real transfiguration, more than we witnessing the glory, we are actually witnessing the care of our Lord for us. In our moments of disillusionment, in our moments where we are filled with questions, in our moments where we do not know the way forward. The glory of God is there before us to be witnessed, gives us the strength to go forward. My dear brothers and sisters, maybe we do not have this mountain experience of Jesus leading us to this mountain and see this glory in its fullness, but there is a transfiguration that is taking place every day here in the altar. A transfiguration of the bread and wine into the body and blood of Christ through the transubstantiation. A transfiguration through a transubstantiation, where we are able to see this glory. And every experience and every taking of this Eucharistic experience, being part of this Eucharistic experience, should fill us with this glory, which should fill us with this joy, should take away all disillusionments that are there, to take away all the questions that fill us, and fill us with the power to go forward in the way the Lord wants us, each one of us, from His plan that He has for us, the plan that He has for this world.